Hi there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at High Noon by Dwight Cenac.
In High Noon, players are going to control a team of miniatures on the board where you can move about and shoot the other players, just like you're in a good old Western shootout movie. This is going to be a skirmish, dudes on a map type game, obviously with a Western theme. Let's go ahead and take a look at it on the board.
Hey there, I have High Noon on the table here. High Noon is obviously a Western theme game in which players are going to have dudes on a map shooting at each one another. So this is going to be a genuine shootout at the OK Corral here. As you can see, there are 4 different teams on the map that are color-coded. Each team also comes with player cards for the different members of their team. And your player cards are going to show you some stats about your particular players. Your speed's going to be how quickly you can move. Your range is how far out you can attack. This icon right here is going to show you with what you're attacking with. This is your team icon. This number right here indicates how many equipment cards you can carry around with you throughout the course of the game. And this number right here tells you how much gold this particular character is worth if they were killed. And you die when your life meter gets all the way down to the skull and crossbones. Now, how this game works, as I mentioned, each player is going to pick a particular team, and they're going to make sure to put the correct modular board pieces. As you can see, this is a separate board from all the other ones, for that particular team. So if you are playing with the Leroy gang, that's this team right here, you're going to need this board. And if you're playing with the Lawmen, you're going to want to have this board right here. And this guy's actually supposed to be right there, because each character has their own specific starting space. I know that's probably too small to read there, but that's where the deputy starts. Also, as part of setup, there are going to be some crates scattered throughout the board in various spots. These crates are going to provide opportunities for players to loot later on, either getting food, equipment, or weapons. And I'll come back to that here in a minute. Now, how a turn works, you're going to make all of the people on your team activate at once. And so this is going to be the Leroy turn, in which the Leroy gang is going to activate all 5 of its members before the next team goes, say maybe the Roughnecks over there. And so what you would do is you would move first. If you want to move, it's the first thing you have to do on your turn. And again, you would move each individual character. And that would be dependent upon whatever their speed is. And you can move orthogonal, but you can also move diagonal. However, diagonal movement counts as 2. If you are moving through any of these orange spaces right here, it's going to cost 2 movement for each square. You can't go through orange lines. You can't go through walls. You can go through windows, though. If you'll see here, there is a window right here. You can jump out through the window like an old spaghetti western. However, you do take a point of damage if you do that. After you've moved, you can then perform 1 action per character. So some of the actions that you can do, as I mentioned, you can loot a crate. So if you're right next to a crate, you could loot it. This particular one says guns, and so I would turn that over, and it would say looted on the back side of it. I would put it back where it was, and then I would draw some cards from this gun deck. And each deck has different things in it. Obviously, with the gun deck, you're going to find different weapons. With the equipment deck, you're going to find things that can either heal you or protect you from damage. And with the food deck, you are probably going to find things that heal you or give you extra actions, extra cards, that sort of thing. And that's one of the actions you could do. Another action you can do is you can attack. So in order to attack, you do have to be in a straight line to shoot someone. Such as this right here. These 2 characters are in a straight line. And you would want to double check the range on that character. If this one is a range of 10, yeah, you have to make sure you're within 10 spaces of the person you're trying to attack. Now, once you make sure that that is okay, you are then going to play a card from your hand. Now, each a player is going to have a deck of cards that matches their team. This is Colonel Rogers' Roughnecks deck here. I'm just going to grab it for an example. And you're going to play a card in order to attack. Your attack value is going to be this red number here in the top left of cards. Now, if you'll see, this one says 3, this top one here. But if you'll see, it also has a name on the bottom of the card, so Rough Riders. And that means that this card can only be played by that particular character on your team. So not all the cards you have in your deck can be used for each individual character. So I would have to make sure that I am attacking with the Rough Riders, which obviously is not the case because this isn't even Colonel Rogers' team here, but just pretend it is. And so I would then attack for 3. And if this person had nothing to defend with, they would take 3 points of damage, keeping track of it on their player board here. However, players do have cards in their deck that they can defend with. And so you'll see this number right here, this blue one with the shield, is defense. And so if I'm being attacked for 3, I could play this to prevent 1 damage. Any damage left over, I do have to take. Now, this particular person is inside a building behind a window, and so that does provide some sort of cover. Also, boxes, crates provide cover. The different objects that are out on the board provide cover. Anytime you're in cover, and let's say it's going something like this, you would divide the attack by half, rounded up. So again, if they were attacking for 3 in this example, we would divide that in half, which is 1.5. Rounded up, which would be 2. So I would only take 2 damage. And again, if I could block that damage with 2 shield, I wouldn't take any damage. Now, you do have to play cards in order to do that. And cards are kind of your way of attacking back. And so you want to make sure to weigh your options there as far as, do I take damage and waste my cards in blocking, or do I save them for a strong counter attack? That is one thing about this game. Some other actions you can do: you can hand off items to teammates. You can loot people's bodies whenever they have been killed and eliminated from the game. And so if I were to kill this person, we would lay them down. Actually, you would take them off and put out one of these generic tokens out on the board to keep track that that was where that person died. And if I could get there, I could loot that space and take any equipment cards that that person might have had on them at the time that they died. And what you're trying to do is, you are not only trying to just eliminate all the other people on the board, but you want to try to attack them and hurt them as much as you can, because each time that you successfully hurt another player, you are granted one of these gold bars right here. And these are your victory points. And so just hurting a person earns you 1 of these. If you are able to completely eliminate them, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to gain whatever's on that person's player card. So Colonel Rogers here is worth 3 victory points. And that's the biggest thing of this game, because whoever has the most victory points at the end of 12 rounds, which you keep track with on this little pocket watch right here, is going to be the winner. And that is how you play High Noon. Okay, so here's Sam and I doing a 2-player playthrough of High Noon. And in case you can't tell there, I am playing as the Leroy gang, and Sam is playing as the Lawmen. So you got good guys and bad guys here. Good old shoot up at the OK Corral. And we're going to share our thoughts on this game. I'll go first and let you guys know, I'm going to be completely honest. These types of games are not my biggest cup of tea, and I think that's probably true for you as well, Sam.
Yeah.
These dudes on a map, skirmish type games, not huge fans of that. But here's the thing: if it has a lot of theme to it, and that theme really is pulled out and drawn on, then I think it does. I think it can fill a spot in my gaming collection, and that's what I think High Noon does for me. You know, and here's another thing. I'm a sucker for Western games. I really do like Western games. And man, this game has Western theme just oozing out of it. And I really do like that. It really does give you that feel of, I'm controlling my gang here, my posse, if you will. And I am, trying to just shoot up the other guys. And you can jump through windows, you can loot crates, you can hide behind the wagon. I mean, there's just so many cool things here, and the weapons that you can get from looting those crates. I mean, there's a stick of dynamite that you can throw, and I do that at Sam here. And one point in this video, I blow up her deputy or something. I can't remember, but that's just so cool. It really does bring out some good moments of just skirmishing, going back and forth. So, Sam, what are your initial thoughts on High Noon?
Well, I mean, Western shoot 'em out battling games are not typically something I would lean to. But this game does, something about it feels nostalgic, and I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if there was a game like this as kids. I definitely didn't play that many board games, so I'm not sure why I have that feeling, but something about it just feels like something you would play as a 10 or 11-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just it's a fairly simple game to play. You move, you battle, you take lives. I don't know. Something about it just feels nostalgic.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah, because it is more straightforward and simple to understand. The rule set here is not overly complicated like some skirmish games can be, like some dudes on a map games can be. And you know, I think I see what you're saying there. Plus, with the Western theme, it's old timey. So,
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting point that you make there. That being said, was this something that was easy for you to understand?
Yeah, I understood it for sure. I definitely, moving and the goal of the game. I don't think I utilized my
Sheriff or
the crates. I didn't loot the crates enough. You have a certain amount on your sides. I feel like it felt really uneven with me only having 2 people and you having 5.
Okay.
That is my biggest complaint about the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would like maybe 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand that my 2 guys are stronger, have more lives, are harder to kill, but I felt like it was very uneven with you having 5. And maybe me as a non-gamer should have been the bad guys. But I don't feel like I utilized looting the crates to get, dynamite and things like that.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that the teams here are unbalanced, and that may be intentional. I played with most of them. I don't think I have played with, I have played with all of them. And I think that some are more difficult to play with than others, and that may be intentional. And so, if you are playing with non-gamers out there, you'll want to make sure to give them one of the easier teams to play with. And I don't know that I would necessarily say which team is the easiest, but I think definitely there are some that are harder to play with. The natives are a little bit harder to play with, I think, just because they have to be so close to attack, and that can be a very difficult thing to do. I thought the Leroy gang was kind of easy to play with, honestly, although they are weaker. And so, but anyhow, we're getting off on a tangent a little bit here. I do want to come back to those crates that you mentioned and just kind of say that I think the crates are super important, and it is a big part of the strategy with this game, but also just understanding which cards you should play for attacking and which cards you should hold back in case you get attacked for defense. That's a huge mechanic in this game, and it's one that can't be overlooked. So I think that's a really cool aspect to this, is just the unique card play with that deck and how only certain cards work with certain people. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's recap here. Sam, what are some of the things that you like and maybe don't like so much as a non-gamer with this game?
I enjoyed the theme. I didn't think I would, but like I said, it just had a nostalgic feel to it. Felt like something that I would play as a young kid. Not to say that it's super simple and can't be enjoyed by older gamers. It just, something about it just felt like I had played it before almost. It was pretty easy to understand the rules. I did not like how unbalanced the teams were. Again, I'm sure there's a reason for that. It being the first time I played it, it felt unfair, but it could just be something that you need to play more and kind of figure out how to best work your team. And I didn't know that at the time.
Okay. There you go. All right, let's get into our scores for this game. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give this one?
I'd probably give it a 7.0.
Okay, solid 7 then. I think I'm probably a little higher. I'm going to give this game a 7.4.
Okay, so a little bit higher than me. Well, that was High Noon. I hope y'all enjoyed our review. Please like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of our other content.
All right, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.